I want you to erase this word from your mind, your body, your soul, okay? Erase the word forgive now. And by the end of this video, you're going to know why you should stop trying to forgive. If you've been harmed or abused, what's happening right now is that you have a lot of anger, resentment, sadness, and even depression. And all this time, you know, the people who harmed you are living quite comfortably and happily. They seem to have an entourage of enablers and supporters while you are suffering alone. This is not the time to forgive. Forgiveness in this day and age has become such a toxic word. You know, everyone talks about forgiveness. Nobody talks about healing. Nobody talks about the victim. We're just all rushing to forgive the abusers because we think it's such a brave, courageous, and a martyrish thing to do. You know, even if the person who harmed you has the presence of mind and the conscience to ask for forgiveness, that in itself is putting the responsibility onto you. It's expecting you to make them feel better while you are already in this mental pain of yours, that you don't need that added pressure to forgive, you know. So sometimes when you're in that chaotic frame of mind, you think, oh, okay, I'll forgive you. That kind of rush forgiveness is going to do you more harm in the long run. It's like a transaction, okay? They did something wrong to you. They want to be consoled. So they say, oh, please forgive me, especially when people are badgering you for forgiveness. It's a transaction. It's like buying a cheap item that's going to break down in 2 days. That kind of forgiveness doesn't last. And you're going to build up even more resentment. When people pressure you to forgive, one of two things can happen. One, they're expecting you to console them. They are putting the responsibility, they're putting more burden on you to forgive them. This is not acceptable. Two, it could be that after you forgive them, oh, you know, everything is fine and dandy and they can go back to normal and they can just continue doing what they've always done. And they're going to continue to abuse you. It's a get out of jail card and continue to do what they've always done. Neither is good for you, okay? So don't do this spiritual bypass thing and go straight to forgiveness. You can't do that. You have to go through all the stages. Now, this is what you do instead. The first thing you do, self-pity. Feel sorry for yourself. Dedicate yourself to that. Commit to it. Commit to it. Be passionate about feeling sorry for yourself. Now, it's not for years or months, okay? Do it for a few weeks, maybe a few days. When you really, really feel it and embrace it, it'll go away by itself. Second, acceptance. Look at the situation, accept it for what it was, accept the people who harmed you, accept that they're going to be that way. Don't expect them to change. 3, now you can start your healing process. I've got a bunch of videos. You can, check them out and see which resonates with you. A few of them are, contain tips that can help you in your healing journey. But before you do that, look for a silver lining in this situation. Now, I don't want to minimize your experiences. They could have been really, really terrible, and I don't want to minimize that. But try to look for a silver lining. If you can't see a silver lining, then make one up. Make it up. I don't care what it is. Just make it up. You need the silver lining. Even if it's like a small grain of a silver lining. It's like a small grain of sand in an oyster that eventually becomes a pearl. Now the 4th stage, my loves, this is the most fun part. The fourth stage is, it's not that you're completely healed. I mean, most of us are not completely healed. But even if you're halfway healed, even if you're 20% healed or 30% healed, you can see the trajectory on which you are heading. You can see where you're heading and you can be optimistic about it. Okay, for as long as you heal yourself 10%, 20%, 30%, you can see a pattern. And most of us don't believe that we have the strength that it takes to stay the course, to go through this journey. But ask for strength. On days where you feel that you want to give up, just ask for strength. I don't know who I even asked from. Just ask. You know, ask the sky, ask the birds, ask a rock. It doesn't matter who you ask, just ask. There were so many times that I wanted to give up, but as soon as I asked for it, I just found the strength from, I don't even know where I found it from. But somehow I got it, and it took me from one day to another. So ask for strength. Okay? Now, this fourth stage, this is where you are proud that you have come this far. You have so much gratitude for yourself and for whomever, your angel, spirit guides, or God, whoever was helping you. You have so much gratitude that you stayed the course, that you were so dedicated, you were resilient, you had the patience, the dedication, and the commitment to heal yourself, that the gratitude you feel is so enormous that, voila, that is forgiveness. You see, you don't have to try to forgive. You don't have to force yourself or even try to forgive. Forgiveness comes naturally. It comes naturally when you take care of yourself first. And when you've forgiven these people who harmed you, you don't have to tell them, you don't have to make amends unless they are willing to genuinely want to make amends. But you don't have to. Forgiveness can be from a distance. You can still love people from a distance, but you don't have to be a part of their world anymore, because, you know, it really takes two. You don't want to go back into that cycle. You don't want to go on pretending that nothing happened. You can't anymore. Once you awaken, you just simply cannot pretend and be fake. That's the one thing that comes with awakening. You're not capable. You know, it's like trans people who take testosterone. Most of them say that, I'm not even capable of crying anymore. I feel like crying, but the tears just won't come up. So an awakening is like that. You cannot be fake anymore. Just try as hard as you want to, you just can't. So just move on. Forgive and move on. The people whom you have forgiven may not know that you've forgiven them, but it doesn't matter, because forgiveness doesn't work that way. Forgiveness doesn't come from someone else. It comes from yourself. If they wanted forgiveness, then they have to work on themselves in order to forgive themselves. So remember this, no matter how much you're pressured into it, no matter how much you feel that you should forgive, forgiveness cannot be forced. Forgiveness is not an action that you do. Forgiveness is not something you do. Forgiveness comes naturally when you've gone through all those 4 steps that I mentioned earlier. Once you start healing yourself, you'll start to feel more gratitude, more confidence, and then forgiveness comes naturally. So if someone tells you to forgive, just smile, erase it from your mind.